Hey, how you doing, everybody? Yeah, Radical Jack here. Day 5. Feeling much better. Mind you, I've just had a shower and a shave, and yeah, just feeling nice, feeling good. My second meal, my one meal a day, and yeah, I feel quite normalized. All of a sudden, power of water. Perhaps I had a nice cold shower as well. And yeah, coincidentally, I've got a new T-shirt on here. My Jerry Fish T-shirt. Peace out, Jerry. God bless you, mate. Yeah, so a little bit of just a reminder of switching the communions. I said I'd do the 14 communions over the 88 days, maybe like 5 or 6 days at a time. I just concentrate on the sun one. Being the first, and then yeah, move into the angel of water. So yeah, that's coming up in the next couple of days. So yeah, I now that we're on the sun energy, and yeah, I'd like to tell you about the experience I had in the Canary Islands in 2006. I'd kind of already been in the Gran Canaria for about a few weeks or a month, and got a free lift to Corrilejo and Fuerteventura, and I've been kind of messing around for 2 or 3 months, not being bad, not being good, like just working my way up to kind of a level where I'd kind of stop smoking, and then I would have a little fall, and I'd have a few smokes and feel annihilated, and just trying to get my health, my diet together, and yeah, I was just feeling like, okay, it's time for me to get serious now. So I kind of broke away from the gang, and I'd been busking up at the market on Fridays and Mondays, and was literally getting between 50 and 90 euros on either one of them, and it was enough to survive. In fact, I even managed to get a little room in this tiny little bedsit, The guy just slept in the front, and I slept in the bedroom, and it was cool. I was able to do my own little cooking and stuff, and so I was thinking about what am I going to do, and many things come to my head, and eventually it was like, okay, right, I'm going to climb that mountain every day for the next 90 days, 91 days. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to begin. When am I going to begin? And it's new moon on the 28th, so a little countdown. And of course, 28th of February again, so it's definitely something going on in the February for me. So yeah, I day come, you never see any rain or any drizzle, or it's just so rare you get any kind of bad weather. It's sun all year round practically. Might get a bit grey here and there, but very rarely get rain. So, the first night, the new moon, it's a storm. There's a storm coming, and of course, like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is the challenge, this is the initiation, you're going to get through this storm, and I've only been up this mountain once, during the day. And yeah, it's a pretty hefty climb, it takes about 3.5 hours from the town to get to the foot of the mountain, up the side, across the ridge, down, and back home again. So there's definitely a couple of hours in the mountain. So the whole idea is I'm going to go up there for sunset. Every day for the next 90, 91, 92, 93 days. I hadn't really. I was just thinking I'm doing this for 3 months, and it's new moon, and I'm assuming that there's a cycle there in relation to 31 days, 31 days, 31 days. Maybe there's a 30 in there. I'm not even thinking, it's the 28th of February, So there's a couple of days missing there. So anyway, what happened was I got to the foot of the mountain that evening. I'm soaked to the skin now at this point, and it's like I couldn't go any further. And I was like, the voice in my head just kind of said, okay, you need to make your prayers here, and ask for a blessing or both or whatever, So I'm there, and I didn't feel I could go any further, and it's kind of like it's asking me for an offering, So I go into my pockets and empty. I had nothing, And so this voice came into my head and says, "We'll have your hair." And I was like, "Oh, my hair was down to here, my elbows, and I was like, no. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. I'll give up my hair. I'll chop it off when I come down, and that's it. Boom. I'll do the gung ho style, you know, right down to the bone. So that was that. I made a couple of prayers and I exclaimed, I'm going to climb this mountain every day for the next 3 months. So started making my way up the side. It's kind of like a bust out crater, you know. So it goes up one and over the ridge and down, and then this piece is open, but it's really deep inside as well. So you know, I'm making my incline, and I'm like, you know, it's wind, rain, stormy, it's dark, you know, it doesn't look like the sun, you know, it's just before sunset, you know, it looks like nighttime. It's so dark from the storm. And I'm going for it, you know. I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna do this, you know. And yeah, it's tough climb. And then, you know, I get to kind of where the ridge is, and I sort of walk across the ridge, and I get to the highest point. And I'm kind of cold now with the wind, you know, and the wet, you know. And I'm like, I'm worried about this thing that I heard before, you know. Be careful you don't get hypothermia. Take off your clothes, you know. Better off. So I took my clothes off. So, you know, I'm now naked on this mountain, and then I'm just standing there. The wind just pushed me this way and pushed me that way. And all I remember is this. It just felt like the hand of God, and I got slapped onto the ground. And if any of you have ever seen the $6 Million Man, or something microscopic where you kind of like, you know, you go in, or it's like going from, you know, big to minuscule, like tiny, like, you know, almost like atom level, you know. And that was the kind of feeling I had. It just went like that, you know. And I'm on the ground and I couldn't get up. And suddenly I felt tricked. I felt like, oh my God, I've come to die. God's tricked me. I'm going to die. And you know, I just turned into this speck of dust, you know, in this planet, you know. And you know, I got really scared, like oh shit, it's all over. Fuck. Oh my God. You know, and I'm like that. And of course, what happens in that moment, you know, it's all in a split second almost. You know, I felt like I'm kind of everything that I'd done wrong just came up in front of me, you know, and I'm going through this whole process, you know, and then bang, this one thing, you know, with this girl who had the cancer that really hit me, you know, like I felt so much shame and what I could have done, what I didn't do, what I should have done, you know, all this kind of stuff, and I was like in pain, you know. And then a period of like, just like, you know, all the things I hadn't done, you know, like that want, and kind of like oh my God, you know what, these things I wanted to experience I've not yet experienced. And then I went through this whole trip, and you know, even the whole thing, it was just like time had stopped, you know. And then it just got to a point where like I just nothing left but to give myself up. And I had that feeling of I just gave myself up. And in that moment, it was like suddenly the picture changed. The clouds just opened like a curtain. It was like a theater, you know, the curtains opened, and there's the sun just going down on the horizon. And this explosion of light just went poof. And it just literally, it lit up the entire circumference. You're on top of a mountain, so you can see full 360. And there's this ring. So I'm in the center of this ring, a golden ring. And out of this golden ring came right out of the center. It felt like, you know, just in front of me, so to speak. Yeah, it's like a golden rainbow. And in that moment, I just had this overpowering feeling and experience of like something coming right down through the top of my head, and it was like it had the words of forgiveness and compassion and love and understanding and just all these things, all these words, and I just got filled up with something. I don't know what it was, you know, but the golden rainbow, it was just like, oh my God, what I've never even heard of one, you know. And it's like, I'm like, I put my clothes on at this point now, and I'm like, I'm so happy to be alive. I don't know if you've ever come that close to death. You know that feeling, you know. And I came down off that mountain. I was jumping, man. I felt like I was that high off the ground. I went straight down to the apartment, straight into the bathroom, and chopped off my hair. Bang, I was bald, absolute bald. And I went down to the sea, and I offered it to the sea the following morning to begin my water ablutions, watch the sun come up, you know. And then you know, during the first few days, you know, I realized that it was February, and when I counted the days, it was that new moon to dark of the moon, new moon to dark of the moon, new moon to the dark of the moon. It was like, it was 88 days, and I thought, oh my God, it's interesting. 88, like for me then, being into the chakras was like, if you put the two eights together, you've got a four petal, flower, and that basically is base chakra, which is red, and new beginnings. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I'm also walking this double infinity. So that very night as well, I put a rock. People make these piles of rocks. They put a rock on top of the pile just to say you've been. So I decided to make my own pile. And I did 1, and I did 2, and I did 3, I did 4, and across the directions, did it, boom. And eventually I ended up with a beacon, quite about the size of, up as far as my heart space, I suppose, And it was phenomenal, like looking at that beacon at the end of those 88 days and kind of going, wow, this was a trip. The first couple of weeks, pretty bad, because I decided to buy a new pair of trainers, a size too small, thought I was going to break them in. No chance. I had to get rid of them and go back to my holy trainers. And I walked the entire 88 days in these holy trainers. And, but I bust my feet in the process. So for half of the walk, I had to walk it in pain. And it was during this process, like of walking up every evening, I was reciting the 14 communions of the Gospel of the Essenes. I had a different one. There's one for every day, one for every evening. So I would do the evening one, and then I would do the morning one. The morning's one with the mother, the evening ones are with the father. And there's one for every day of the week, so it was perfect, and that kept me kind of preoccupied, with the mind and the internal dialogue. So that was a part. That was an amazing experience. It felt like I was walking out all the pain and suffering, that I'd gained or put myself through, or whatever the case may be, And I never saw one pilgrim on the path, not one. I was up there on sunset every night. Sometimes I stayed the night even, and never met anybody on the path. And of course, I left my medicine bag up there once, and I had this magic box, that I won at the festival the year before. Magic Box Kev makes these beautiful inlaid, this is purple heart box with this little secret compartment, and I won it on the raffle. And he'd always wanted to make me one. We've been friends, but he just never had the time. I was probably one of the only guys I ever seen him in his workshop operating. Nobody ever believed him. Not nobody. Some people thought, it was a scam. That they always went to his friends. When they won them, and he never made them because they were so amazing. But yes, he made them. He was a magical being and still is, and still I hope he's making them. But Magic Box Kev, what happened was I left my medicine bag up there, with all my beautiful things. Schwing made me this beautiful rainbow bracelet, and just lovely things that were dear to me. But thinking that, no one's ever up there, it'll be there the next night. But of course, it was gone. So my magic box was gone. Now the magic box had like 7 points, and up until that point, literally, I probably made between 5,000 and 7,000. I'd swear, chakra necklaces. So I was working with 7 crystals. The colors of the rainbow. That is the chakras. They're the color of the rainbow, red to purple. And everything in between. And I worked with them for years and years and years. And what was really interesting, was when I came back, it was 2006, and Sunrise was on that year, because Glastonbury wasn't on. It was the first Sunrise. And I saw Magic Box Kev, of course, and he said, oh, where's the box? And I went, oh man, I lost the box on a mountain. I was so sorry. And anyway, after that festival, we'd had a nice time and blah, blah, blah. And someone came up behind me and was just dangling at this box, and it was Kev. And he was giving me a new box. He was replacing the box. And on that box, there was 8 points. And I thought that was really interesting, from having been working for years and years, probably at least 7 years, with the chakras and rainbow. And I have so many rainbow stories to tell, But anyway, it was like I was walking the double infinity 8, working with the number 8, going from 7. And I often wondered, what the next chakra was above the crown chakra, because they go down in below the red as well. And I really felt like that maybe the eighth chakra or the 8th color was golden, So there you go, and that's the sun, of course, again as well. So I'm running out of time. It was a magical experience, and thank you so much for listening, people. Thank you very much, and bless your hearts, and subscribe, leave some comments, and stay tuned. very much appreciate your time.